We are on the first book of the trilogy titled Redacted, where Casey, having been ousted from her wire service for exposing the wrong entities, has returned to her hometown where she's currently working in the library. She has been given a notebook by an elderly gentleman, and only to have him or someone who looks like him turn up dead on her property. We are moving into chapter 10 now. After chapter 9 escalated things as Jenna unleashed her 127,000 followers on the investigation while Casey tries to steer the chaos into something useful, cutting a quiet deal with Jerry the janitor and maneuvering Jenna into a controlled partnership, meanwhile pushing deeper into the crow mining mystery. The tone shifts hard at the end as Casey returns home to find her cottage broken into and a message for her on the laptop. Stop looking, this isn't your story. And just like that, it is. So, moving into chapter 10, remember the chapters were renumbered rather, because I had decided after reading the first couple of chapters that they were better suited for the prologue, as the real action, real story began in the library. So, this is just what happens in the editing process. So, new chapter 10. The next morning, I make my way toward the main floor of the library. My pulse is steady, but there's a hum beneath my skin, a heightened focus, a pull in my chest, like I'm heading straight for the drop of a roller coaster. I don't just want answers anymore. I need them. And if that means bending the truth to get past Nell, so be it. Because as much as she thinks she's the grand gatekeeper of historical mysteries, she's wrong about one thing. This isn't just the town story. I'm elbow deep in the stacks, as close to Nell's office as I can get, reshelving a pile of books that aren't mine to reshelve, trying to decide on the moment to storm into her office and demand access to her files. That's when I hear it, the unmistakable shuffle of Jerry's boots, slow and uncertain, heading into the back room. Then the shuffling stops. I crane my neck around the stack to see. Jerry is many things, gentle, massive, endearingly bad at lying, but stopping dead still in the middle of the hallway for no reason, that's rare. My pulse quickens. I keep my hands busy, angling to hear what's going on as Nell's clipped voice radiates through the sorting room door. Well? Tap, tap, tap. It sounds like the rhythm of her pen against the clipboard. Her voice resonates. Did you complete the morning tasks? Jerry mutters something about bins and the loading dock, but his voice dips lower toward the end, his words fumbling. Then I hear it. Jerry gives something to Miss Layton. My heart skips a beat. Damn, so much for bracelets and ice cream. I crane further. A sharp silence follows except for the tapping. Tap, tap. Then the sound of Nell's pen stopping mid-tap. Something? Her voice is sharp now, cutting. Like which something, Jerry? Jerry hesitates. I can hear his boots shuffling against the floor. Jerry give her one of the donations. There's a pause while the tapping resumes. Then Nell's voice drops into dangerously icy territory. You gave a donation to Casey Layton? I press my back against the bookshelf, forcing my breathing steady. Her tone makes my skin prickle. Jerry, give her the notebook. He's mumbling now, and I can just picture him, broad shoulders hunched, wringing his hands like he's expecting a scolding. Poor Jerry, he just can't override his conscience. It was in the trash. Miss Layton said it looked important. Another pause, then the distinct sound of Nell slapping down her pen. A notebook, she repeats, slow and deliberate. From the donations? You mean the one I told you to dispose of? Yes, Jerry answers quickly, like that'll make this whole thing go away. She has seemed real interested in it, thought it might be worth saving, I guess. A sharp inhale. I know that inhale. That's Nell deciding how much of her patience to spare before she levels someone. And you didn't think to ask me before turning it over? Jerry makes a sound like a gulp. I don't have to see him to know how badly he feels at this moment. Jerry didn't think it was a big deal, just an old journal. I grip the bookshelf, pulse hammering, because Nell's silence after that is louder than any of her sharp-tongued corrections. Then, tiny heels clicking, fast, precise floor slaps in Jerry's direction. "It's not your job to decide what is a big deal," she says, voice like steel. "And Ms. Layton's penchant for straying outside protocol is something I will no longer tolerate." Jerry stammers an apology, but she's gone, marching toward her office like a woman about to draft a tearful memo commemorating someone's death, like mine. Well, at least she used the term Ms. I'm frozen in place. Because Nell knows I have the notebook. And not in a, what a strange thing to throw away way. It, in a, why the hell did you let her get her hands on it way? I wait, heart thudding, until I hear her office door click shut. Then I move. I set my books down, dust my hands on my jeans, and casually, very casually, slip down the hallway. I stop just before her door, press in close, and listen. At first, there's nothing. Then, slowly, the clickety-clack of her pacing footsteps. A breath let out too sharply, and then keys pressed on a cell phone, followed by murmured words. I lean in, straining to catch them. "Casey Layton," she mutters barely above a whisper. I roll my eyes. Hell, me again. I should have burned it when I had the chance. I freeze. Burned it? My stomach tightens. Nell didn't just want the notebook gone. She wanted it destroyed. I press my ear closer. "Lunatic ramblings," she murmurs, voice edged with something cold. "Crow mining, black vein, cave-in, someone knew, someone left a record." Something in my ribs clenches. I knew the notebook was important. I just didn't know how important it was to Nell. A queer cheek, excuse me, a queer, a queer creak, I can't, a chair creaks as Nell sinks into it. She mumbles, "She thinks she can rewrite history." I swallow hard. This is bigger than I thought. Nell isn't protecting the town's reputation. She's protecting a person. Who? I don't get my answer because right then she stops talking and her clickety-clack snaps toward the door. I twist away, moving fast, slipping back into the stacks just as her door swings open. Her heels click against the tile, then hesitate, before continuing down the hallway. I stay perfectly still, breathing fast, because one thing is now absolutely clear. Nell doesn't just suspect I won't let this go, she knows it. And I just made myself her biggest problem. I had to get into those archives now. That meant we had to put Jenna's plan into action. I call it Dream Puff. Yesterday, 2 days after the cops left, as the notebook lay open on my kitchen table while Jenna continued documenting each page with her camera, I brought up the looming threat of her date with Mal Whitaker. This caused Jenna to wave a hand at me dismissively. "Oh, please, Casey," she said, grinning like it was just a minor scheduling conflict and not a homicide-adjacent legal issue. "I brought us time hours ago." I blink. "How?" Jenna leans back, smug. This is past tense, sorry. Jenna leaned back, smug. "I agreed to dinner on Saturday instead of Friday." I stared. "You did what?" She shrugged and checked her nails like she'd won a negotiation with the United Nations and not simply postponed a state cop's evidence seizure. "It's a soft yes," she clarified. "Nothing firm. I think I can stretch it out even further." My mouth fell open. "You're reducing our way out of a felony obstruction to date rescheduling?" Jenna grinned. Jenna grinned. "I like to think of it as leveraging assets." I decide to ignore her and point to a scrawled note in the notebook that had been troubling me. "Watch the archives," it said. Jenna's eyes followed mine. "The archives? You think that means the library?" I nod. I nodded. Could be. Nell keeps her precious records locked up." Jenna perks up. Again, this is past tense because Casey's remembering it from the day before. Jenna perked up. Are you saying we need to break into the library? Not break in, I corrected. Just borrow strategically if she doesn't let me in. Jenna taps a finger to her lips. I can distract her. Oh no, I scoffed. She already knows we're up to something. Jenna smirks. But I have a plan. Which is dream puffs. I stare. I see. After the first batch of lemon cookies worked so well. Jenna grins. Not cookies, Casey. Magic. Well, what's in these magic cookies? I asked her. I told you, not cookies. Little billows of perfect confection. People get them shipped all over the world. Gee, Jenna, not to disparage this idea of using local delicacies, but I've tried going after her sweet tooth, and the Dame of Doom gave my lemon beauties to Jerry. These are a bit better than your scorched singles, Jenna retorted with a flip of her ponytail. Then she continued her idea, complete with script instructions, phases, and her own cameo appearance. I had to admit that, while it needed fleshing out, the skeletal version of her plan was quite good. Now, a day later, I make a hasty exit from my lunch break and return with the needed supplies. The bell jingles as someone exits, a falsely cheerful chime that cuts through the library's hush, and I glance up from where I am currently curating a tray of pastries so delicate they might as well come with the title of nobility. Jenna was right. Little puffed clouds of perfection, each one topped with a swirl of glossy meringue and stuffed with something that could only be described as confectionery sin. I know this because I've now eaten 3. I check to see if anyone is looking, then pop another one into my mouth as if that somehow makes it less of an admission of a defeat. The tray is a vision, a masterpiece. It screams elegance, refinement. It also screams, this is a trap. Perfect. As if on cue, Nell exits her office, her wee heels snapping against the tile, her expression steeped in severe distrust. Activate phase 1. Innocent ingenuity. Her eyes land on the pastry display. The crease between her brows deepens like she's staring at evidence in a criminal trial. Miss Layton, she says, voice crisp with thinly veiled outrage, what is this? I plaster on my most disarming smile, the one that says, trust me, I'm a respectable person who definitely does not have ulterior motives. Oh, just a little something I've been working on, I say, gesturing to the tray. I've decided to take up baking, stress relief, you know. Nell's skepticism intensifies. I sigh. Fine, you got me. These are the town's famous dream puffs. She does not look impressed, more like concerned, like I might have hidden a small handsaw or traces of arsenic inside these sugar-laden goodies. Ambitious, she says, lifting a dream puff as if it might detonate. I glance at the clock. Tick-tock. This has to work. Jenna's harebrained plan depends on Nell being distracted long enough for me to get into the archives without her looming over me like a vengeful ghost. Time to activate phase 2, manufactured obligation. Oh, I say on cue, feigning sudden realization. I almost forgot. You're expected at the garden club luncheon. Nell freezes mid-bite. Her gaze snaps to me, sharp as a guillotine. What are you talking about, you scattered thing? I widen my eyes, pouring as much urgent sincerity into my voice as I can muster. 1 p.m. today, I cry, a perfect note of panic creeping in. I meant to mention it earlier, but well, you know how things get with the cataloging, with the digitizing. I gesture vaguely toward the rows of catalog draws, a perfect cover for my fake distress. Nell is already checking her watch. You're just telling me this now? She demands. You know Jenna Price? I throw out the name like a carefully placed grenade. She arranged it, said they were excited to have you speak. Something about how your leadership has brought a sense of order and refinement to the town. I can see it happening in real time. The subtle shift in Nell's expression, the pleasure flickering across her face. her straightening spine. Nell loves order. She loves refinement even more. Most of all, she loves having these qualities attributed to herself. Her eyes flick to the clock. 1 hour. A beat of silence. She exhales, long suffering and dramatic. That is very unprofessional, Miss Layton, she scolds, already pivoting toward her office. You should have informed me in a timely manner. Now I have mere minutes to throw together an appropriate speech. That's the idea. I wait until she's out of sight, then grab the keys to the archives. The moment Nell's office door clicks shut, Jenna slithers from between the stacks like a smug blonde raccoon who's just watched someone unlock a dumpster full of premium snacks. She's grinning so hard it looks painful. That, she whispers, eyes gleaming, was a masterclass in manipulation. I wave a dismissive hand, but I won't lie, it feels good. I have skills, I murmur, swiftly covering the pastry tray before Nell can march back in and start interrogating the meringue. And I'd like to keep them undetected for as long as possible. She doesn't know how. She doesn't know we're involved in anything more than garden parties. For now, let's keep it that way. Jenna salutes like she's been waiting her whole life for this exact moment, then dissolves into the shadows, slipping into a quiet corner of the library. I exhale and occupy myself with busy work, waiting, anticipating. Sure enough, minutes later, Nell emerges, every dwarf-sized inch of her. She is doing her best to exude composed authority, the kind that will make people sit up and listen to her even if they don't know why. Her 1980s Calvin Klein overstock blazer is impressive in its refusal to blend with the times, her hair swept back in a way that suggests she has never once in her life been caught without a hairband. She clutches a stack of note cards in one hand, her expression cool, professional, and slightly murderous, probably because she had exactly 41 minutes to prepare for a presentation she never agreed to. She barely spares me a glance, though her irritation is so tangible it could knock the books off the shelves just by walking by. Make sure everything runs smoothly while I'm gone, she instructs, clipped and efficient like she's issuing orders in a war zone. I expect the cataloging backlog to be underway by the time I return. I beam at her, saccharine sweet. Of course, I chirp. Good luck, Ms. Whitaker. Whitaker. I have heard that name recently. Too recently. Nell doesn't answer me. She's thinking about her audience, about refinement, order, and a room full of people forced to listen to her for an hour. She strides out the door, her teeny heels clicking against the tile like an execution drum. As the sound fades into silence, I straighten. This is it. The real show starts now. Sometimes the only way forward is to outmaneuver the people trying to hold you back. Nell Whitaker doesn't know it yet, but she's playing a game she can't win. She spent years, decades maybe, tightening her grip on the truth, keeping it locked away under layers of protocol and selective history. But the thing about control, it only works if the people under it allow it. And I'm done letting anyone tell me where I can or can't dig. I've worked in newsrooms run by professional liars, manipulators, and spineless cowards who would rather kill a story than let the truth inconvenience their bottom line. Nell is an amateur version of the same thing. She thinks her ironclad grip on this library, on this town's past, will keep me from getting to the truth. But I've seen what's in that notebook. I've felt the weight of it, the undeniable pull towards something deep and unsettling. This is not mere curiosity or a need to find answers to questions. It's a connection to my missing past. Crow Mining did something bad in this town and buried the evidence before I set foot back here, and Nell knows it. Her reaction to Jerry giving me the notebook was far more than irritation. It tells me everything I need to know. She recognizes the references. She knows what they mean, what they could unravel. That's why she tried to shut me down. She wants to destroy what's in that notebook. I won't let her. Jen is right about one thing. We can't stop now. Every move we make feels like a gamble, but we're making progress. And distracting Nell today, that wasn't just about buying time. That was about protecting the investigation. I feel the truth is here. It's somewhere in the records, somewhere in the past Nell is so desperate to keep buried. If she thinks I'm going to let it stay that way, she has no idea what she's dealing with. What I've now confirmed. Nell recognizes the references in my note in the notebook to Crow Mining and the Black Vein Project. Her reaction all but confirms the notebook is tied to a cover-up. The 1975 collapse wasn't just a tragic accident. It's a carefully controlled story meant to hide something bigger. Nell's connection to the town's archives make her both a threat and potential source of valuable information. The notebook references a containment effort tied to the mine. Something wasn't just buried down there, it was sealed away. What I still need to find out. What exactly Nell knows about the Black Vein Project and why she's so anxious to bury it. The role my father played in the collapse. Was he trying to expose the truth? Or was he caught in something he was or was or caught in something he was part of? Or was it something else entirely? What was contained in the mine, and why did Crow Industrial go to lengths to hide it? What I need to do next. Dig through those archives before Nell can put up any more roadblocks. Find the missing records she doesn't want me to see. Figure out where my father fits into all of this. Get Jenna to permanently postpone her date with the scary state cop. That last one shouldn't be a big deal, except Jenna has the self-preservation instincts of a moth in sight of a porch light. And Mal Whitaker, he's got the kind of energy that makes me want to stand between him and Jenna with a large, blunt object. Yeah, this might be harder than the archives. Ah, Whitaker. That's where I heard it. And that concludes chapter 10. I will see you tomorrow for chapter 11. Bye now.